All right, welcome back to the podcast. We got Rory Connolly here. We're going to talk some wrestling.
Thanks for having me here. Thanks. It's an honor. Really an
Yeah,
honor.
it's an honor for us too. So, what do you want to talk about first?
um,
How you been? We haven't talked in.
been,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been forever for both of you guys. I think the last time Jacob I saw you was probably when you went out to dinner with us in Iowa City, probably
Yeah.
like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
We're
It's
lots
been a
different.
minute.
And Aiden, I can't even think of the last
I,
time we
I was going to say prom, like when we were seniors.
yeah, junior
That's
year. Could
probably
have
the last
been.
time I saw you. What
Probably
was it,
actually.
junior year? Was it 2018?
Shoot, actually was
I
it?
thought it was 2019 because didn't you go with Peyton?
Yeah, maybe it was 2019 then.
I think it
Did you go
was.
twice, Rory? Or no?
Nah, just once. I don't remember. It must have been. I don't know. I thought it was junior year, but maybe not.
Well, yeah,
Whatever.
it was a long time ago.
Forever, yeah.
But should we talk about the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight?
Get the pay-per-view. It was a little I don't know. The fight, obviously was very short.
Horrible.
Yeah, but I for all the money I paid, which was none, it
Yeah,
was worth the
me
watch.
too.
It was worth the watch.
I was excited to watch it, and then none of my friends wanted to watch it that night, so I just didn't and just waited for the results. And
Yeah,
I was watching it start like on Instagram, and then I checked my phone like 5 minutes later just to see who won. And it's like from 4 minutes ago, Ben Askren defeated by Jake Paul, like
yeah.
first round.
And it wasn't like Ben Askren was on the back foot, the whole fight. It was literally like a punch. It was like a combination of punches, and he was just like
Yeah.
down. And they called it off. It was
Uh-huh.
pretty weird. But yeah, I mean, Jay Beebs was there. Had like I said, Ric Flair. He was there with Pete David. That was really funny because Ric Flair is just the son of a gun.
He really is.
He's the crazy motherfucker. Like he is
He
crazy.
just shows up and people are excited. Like he
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
didn't do
He
anything.
just brings the energy for sure.
That's funny. Jacob, did you
Yeah,
watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I checked the results because I heard they're fighting, and then I saw it ended. Who did you guys think was gonna win going in?
Oh, dude,
uh,
I did not think Jake Paul was gonna win.
no,
I
I
thought
thought
Ben Askren was gonna win for sure.
I had Jake Paul. Jake Paul is actually just like a unit, like, and
Mhm.
he looks like when you watch him, he's training. It's like he looks like he takes it pretty serious.
Yeah, but
Ben Askren is a UFC fighter for sure. So I
right,
mean, he was like a real good wrestler, but
he's
I
a
don't know.
wrestler.
But Jake, you look at Jake Paul, he's not a
Yeah.
slouch. Like,
No, he's not. He's not. I feel like he's a really good like amateur boxer. That's where his like level is. But I mean, amateur boxer is better than Olympic wrestler and MMA fighter, I guess. For
Yeah,
Ben Askren at least.
I will say though, I kind of got the vibe from Ben Askren that like he didn't really care if he won or lost.
no,
Where like Jake Paul had everything to lose.
He
Like
didn't
Ben,
care at all. Like he said it in interviews before, but I still thought he was gonna try. You know?
yeah,
yeah.
he got the bag and he was like, I'm out of here. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That so people are saying that it was rigged, and it's like, well,
probably
that
not.
part is rigged. Like he just didn't care.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think he
from
was.
that aspect, I guess it could be like he didn't pick a legit like Jake Paul. If he wants to take it serious, he should step into the professional scene. Like, didn't he? He was trying to fight like some real pros, like Canelo or something crazy like that. But
Uh-huh.
Canelo would obviously beat the shit out of him, and like any professional boxer would. But
Well, he
what's,
was calling out Conor McGregor too.
yeah, and Conor McGregor would beat the
I don't
shit
know
out of
that much about him, but I feel like Dylan Dennis would be a better match than Ben Askren.
yeah, it's just kind of odd. It's like if you want to be taken seriously, you should fight some legit people, probably.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so too. I think he's gonna ride the wave of like people you don't know if he could beat or not.
yeah, yeah.
As long as that he can,
Depends.
like he's gonna ride it for years probably.
That's
But
what boxers do that though. They get like a nice 20 undefeated streak before they start fighting people. Like historically, I feel like that's low key like a strat, to
really,
I don't know, I think
I'm not
boxing
a boxing fan, so I don't really know. But
I like old boxing, and boxing's cool cuz it's like more independent obviously. Like you got your bookers or whatever, but it's not like
Not
You know,
team sport. It's all individual.
yeah, it's not like UFC either, where it's the UFC. It's like that's more of like a organization. Like with there's a bunch of different divisions and a ton of different belts. And there's like 3 different belts per weight group or whatever too, and like they're all
Is there multiple companies too?
yeah, it's like all licensed. There's like WBO, and then there's like blah blah blah, and there's just a bunch of different little organizations. And obviously some matter more than others, and if you unify them, you're just the best in the weight class. So that's kind of how that works, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that why they have like multiple titles?
Yeah. So those are all like most of the time it's like they're trying to unify, undisputed kind of deal. But this time it actually like you're picking them up, I guess. Like I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool circuit kind of deal because you can fight a bunch of like slouches if you want to like make yourself look good because you're the one who's like booking all these shows or whatever. Not really, but you're like picking the guys you want to
Looking
face
for yourself instead of like being a white throwing 2 fighters together.
Yeah. And obviously they got agents, but it's more like if a fighter wants to fight someone, they'll make it known, and they'll challenge them, whatever. It's pretty cool. Box is cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Though it's just insane to think that like Ben Askren got like 500,000. It's crazy numbers.
I have a hard time believing that an Olympian would just not care about a fight.
Yeah, and he's old, not kids. So he's probably just like over the whole like his ego is probably not too big. He probably doesn't. He's probably not.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like he would have some competition in him still.
It was a letdown for sure. You expect more fight out of him. I would agree.
Yeah. What do you think about, what were you gonna say?
I was just I kind of feel like he still tried at least some, but he did a podcast like right after. He's like, yeah, my 2 biggest things were number 1, money, and number 2, it just sounded fun.
Yeah.
So it's like
about right. And then I saw some highlights from like Jake and I don't watch their podcast at all, but they were saying like Logan was getting on him. He was like, "Why would you take a fight? If you're not going to take it seriously, if you're not going to all that." And it's like that's true, but like, I mean, this is just a really smart, lucrative business deal, regardless of if he's fine or not.
We're talking about it right now, so
yeah, for sure. It worked. Definitely worked.
Logan's podcast is actually good, but Logan's respectable. I don't respect Jake. I mean, I know he's a good boxer now or whatever he is at like a amateur. He's not a professional boxer, I wouldn't say.
Mm-hmm.
But Logan's about to get KO'd by Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
that's not even a debate.
No, not at all. That's
open debate. Like,
yeah. He's got the weight, he's got the size on Floyd, but it's Floyd. It's Floyd. That's all you gotta say.
Like McGregor went like 10 rounds with him, and he'd probably let him.
Yeah, he'll probably toy with them. I mean,
probably carried him, but
Floyd's known for just being shifty as hell too. So it should be fun to watch regardless. I mean.
It will be good. I don't think it'll be anything like Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, where it's like first round TKO. But I don't think Logan has a chance at all. Like,
that show was like just kind of. It was weird though. It was kind of surreal because it was like E40. He's got that song "Choices." Where he's like, you guys know that song.
Is he like a West Coast rapper?
Yeah. So the production was like. Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, E40
was there.
Yeah, and some other guy. And so it was like Mount Westmore was what it was called. And it was like their new group maybe or something. I'm not too sure. They're all like old heads,
Yeah.
And like E40 comes out and he's like, or no, the next guy comes out who I forgot the name of, but he's like, and it just feels outdated because the songs are just so like, it's like when they were rapping, it's a little misogynistic, I mean, it still is today, but it's like more abrasive, it's like
20 years ago rap.
Yeah. And like, it's like this crazy song that is like clearly like, and this dude's like 40 something, 45, 50 now, and then this one like dancer comes out and like just one, and it's just so weird. It's on this empty stage and this guy's like talking about all these like bitches and shit. And it's like one girl's out here. It's just so weird. It was really weird. But then Ice Cube, he rocked it. It's Ice Cube. He sang.
Uh-huh.
classics.
It just sounds weird because it's an empty arena, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like it had like a pretty nice backdrop, but it was still just kind of awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Beebs obviously came out, brought the energy. It's Justin Bieber, but it was just kind of weird.
I like Bieber's music now. He's honestly pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, he's always been good.
Yeah, he's always been good, but the songs, it's hard to get behind.
I like him better now that he's married too.
Yeah, true. Cool. He's probably not as much of an idiot as he used to be.
Yeah, you can tell too. I mean, he's still got an ego, but it's Justin Bieber.
Yeah, he definitely grew up though.
For sure.
But should we start talking about wrestling?
Might as well. I see. Busted out the Kenny Omega hot topic.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were wearing one.
Yeah,
When did that come out? I don't think
it's like it's like literally like a friend of mine got this for me just from like it was either Spencer's or like Hot Topic. It's not like an actual nice licensed tee, but I wear it around.
It's still cool though. I mean, who would know?
Yeah. And it got me an Omega one, because that was probably when like Omega was he still is, but
yeah, I mean, once he got to AEW, he was like kind of riding the wave of not doing much. He was with Hank on stage and he just was coasting. Now he's like the top heel in the company.
Yeah,
I like his spot a lot actually right now.
That's how it felt because I was watching. So like we were talking about Okada a little bit and how I wrote that essay. I wrote the essay in like 2017 or something about his like 5th title reign, like his title reign. It was super long, and like so that was like
days or something like that if I remember right.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous as hell, and it was cool because he had the most title defenses too at like 11 or 13 or something like that or some ridiculous amount, and then afterwards he just went on like a massive losing streak. That was like the thing too, and then so.
That really added to his character. Like,
for sure.
As soon as he took that robe off and he was the Rainmaker again, the whole crowd exploded.
And what was it? Oh yeah, and that was like definitely added. That was about his character. My essay was. It was about how like he's like a broken bird was the term. It was like something like that. But when he recently he just hit the Rainmaker for like the first time at Wrestle Kingdom 15 against Will Ospreay. Like that was the first time he hit it in over like a year and a half too or something like that. So that was cool. That match was sick. Watched highlights of that. But yeah.
I think I've seen highlights of that, but I pay attention to New Japan, but I just never watched really,
No, yeah. I mean it's tough you're watching a lot of other stuff I'm sure too. Like over here, I don't watch a lot of like WWE hardly. I keep up a little bit, but
yeah, I mainly just watch American pro wrestling.
For sure.
But, yeah. What were you saying though?
Oh, kind of how like that was the era I was watching a lot of New Japan. And that's when AEW like started to become a thing. And then Kenny Omega went over. And then like I was still watching it, or not watching, but I was keeping up a lot more then. And like you said, he just did nothing for like the first did he not do like anything? Like that's what it felt like.
He had a feud with Pac Neville from WWE.
Oh yeah.
And then him and Hangman won the tag titles. And now they had like they probably had the match of the year with the Young Bucks. I think it wrapped like 2020 maybe. It was like right before COVID hit.
Yeah. I kind of vaguely remember hearing about that for sure.
Yeah, it was really fucking good. That's probably my favorite tag team match of like all time.
Oh yeah, I should check it out. I know I love Kenny Omega matches, Another one I really liked was with Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom 12, I think.
I think I've seen highlights of that, but I remember their Double or Nothing match more.
Oh yeah.
Back in Double or Nothing.
No, it's cool.
It was when Moxley debuted in AEW.
Yeah, no, it's cool how they just kind of like another thing was like Jericho is sick in New Japan, but then they just AEW just like capitalized on that. I remember like the early promos, like I don't know, Jericho is just a legend,
Painmaker. Yeah, dude, like Jericho is probably the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Like, the way he's reinvented himself so many times, like I don't know.
And his old shit too. It's just so good.
Character, any fucking catchphrase. He literally says, "You're gonna get it." Like,
Yeah, and everybody's like,
it's like,
woo! Eats it up. And like Lionheart, Jericho, like WCW Jericho is just
mhm.
sick too. And I don't know. And like Y2J, obviously.
I was
So
watching an interview with him not that long ago, and he was saying like Eric Bischoff would give him like a little bit of TV time for a match, and
mm,
then Jericho would say like, "Can I go out there for like 2 minutes before the match and just talk on the mic?" And so he
yeah.
like come up with stuff just really fast, like before he went out there and just make the most of his time. So that's
Yeah. I mean, he's so charismatic, and he's got the look. You know, he had the sick blonde hair, and he was just like he was so sick back
the
then.
ponytail like right here
Mhm.
sticking up.
Yeah, and I mean, he got after WCW, he got pushed. Like he had that real famous feud with The Rock and
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold, which is
Mm-hmm.
pretty iconic. And
Yeah,
I don't,
WWE really pushed him, and he wasn't
yeah,
like he was definitely a mid carder, like cruiserweight division in WCW.
yeah, he did some cool shit, but
Mm-hmm.
agreed, he definitely WWE really pushed him. But then they also like realized he just beat The Rock and Stone Cold, so they kind of reeled it back in. At
Yeah,
least,
you can't really go up from there.
no, you can't.
Top
Can't at
stars at the time.
all. Yeah.
Then once he left WWE, didn't he go on like Dancing with the Stars or something?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yep.
And then
I think he left in like 2005, and then he came back in like 2007, maybe.
with the short hair, and then that was new Jericho too. I mean, he might have had short hair. He probably had short hair before that, actually. But
I think it was almost like your hair, like it was like right here,
yeah,
you know. But someone's calling me. But we're talking about Jericho. What
Mm.
else do you think about AEW? Have you checked it out that much?
so Big Show, he got hired fairly recently, didn't he? Or what's
Mhm.
his? And then Chris Jericho is like, oh yeah, he's the best tag team partner. Either the Jericho Show is the best the best tag team, which is
Uh-huh.
I thought at least.
I love when WWE guys go over there and then they all go on Jericho's podcast and trash WWE. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty.
the new thing. Like they all
Talk is Jericho is fire. I'm a big fan of that
it is
that
a good
podcast.
podcast.
Jericho, he's just a good, and he's got good books. I haven't read them, but they're probably good. But I mean, he's just like
Yeah,
he does it all.
I don't think I've read hit. I've read Shawn Michaels, but yeah, Jericho's got like 5 books. Like
Yeah, yeah.
what all he could talk about. Like he's had a huge career, but
Yeah, what
Mhm.
are they about? Are they just like biographies or whatever?
yeah, I think it's his life story.
Yeah.
A lot of them, but the most recent one he made was like documenting all of his matches that he's ever
Oh,
wrestled.
that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
Every single one,
yeah, I'm pretty sure because
like
he like
televised. Are we talking like house shows too and shit, or like
I'm
just
pretty sure. Yeah, I'm
geez.
pretty sure he would just write them down as soon as he did it. Is what he said.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah. So, are you still watching New Japan? Or are you kind of?
Um, Here and there, I've actually been watching a lot of like European soccer. That's kind of the last like couple. I mean, I've always liked soccer, but and
Mhm.
there's been a huge. I don't know if you guys have heard about that Super League, the huge Super League debacle thing. That's
Mm-mm.
been like Matt. I don't know. It was just like there's a big like kind of civil war going on. Not really, but like all these teams were trying to like leave like the biggest teams in the world, like 12 of them. We're trying to make like one Super League, and then like where you don't have to like you can't get relegated because that's kind of how it works over there where it's like there's a pyramid system. So you if you're the best team, you'll make it to the top, where in the United States, it's like if you're the worst team, you have nothing to fear. Like you don't get penalized for losing very much as
Okay.
like in the NFL, you're just a shit team. Who cares?
You
But
guys are
like
the Cleveland Browns.
yeah, and it's like you could Browns have been there for 60 years or whatever, or however long they've been around. But like in England, it's like, or in any of those leagues in Spain and Italy, it's like if you're the worst team, you literally get dropped to like the next division.
Oh, okay.
So like if you aren't good, you won't be a good team. Like, you have to have like a nice club culture. And it's not they don't like the franchise system because it's more of like supposed to be a club thing. So I don't know. It's a big deal. Everybody's freaking out, but received so much backlash that they all like left the Super League. It died in one day, and they were all like issuing apologies, but they read like they were like apologizing to the peasants, and they were like kings. It was like really pandering.
Like
It was
talking
bad.
down to people.
Yeah, and it's just like a multi-billion-dollar industry, so it's like all they care about is money, is what the
Right.
fans, is what the fans are kind of saying. It's
Damn.
just, yeah, it sucks.
Is there a lot of similarities to like NFL or no?
Yeah, well, they're blaming Americans too, which is a thing I think is stupid. Because a lot of the managers, coincidentally, of those big teams are American,
Mm.
because they're like, oh, in America, it's like franchising or whatever. But at least like when we present our sports, like the NFL, we're like, oh, it's a business. Over
Yeah.
there, they're like, oh, it's like a sport. Well, it's like, no, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you know what I mean. You need to like acknowledge that.
Mhm.
It's I don't know, it's cool. I actually think it's more like, I don't know. I like it's more entertaining than, I don't watch a lot of American sports. I like the whole club thing that they do have. I do think it's kind of cool.
I feel like they're a lot more into it, like at least the crowd.
Yeah,
And you're like
yeah.
European soccer, and they're always and starting the chants.
They
Like,
got chance. Yeah, it is cool.
mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when they do shows in like England, over they have the United Kingdom Championship. Like
Oh
the
yeah, uh-huh.
and the shows over there go pretty hard too. Like everybody,
They
like
do.
it's what kind of
Like,
style are they known for over there?
it's like British strong style.
Yeah.
What they call
Okay.
it.
Compared to strong style like
Yeah.
Japan or whatever.
Yeah. I like the UK wrestlers, but sometimes it's a little too technical.
Yeah, it's a lot of grappling.
All like the Pete Dunne like slaps. Like he's a great wrestler, but sometimes it's just like rather see John Moxley throw somebody's head into the turnbuckle.
True. No, yeah, it is a lot of grappling for sure. It's
Really,
pretty good. The championship looks really cool. I think the UK championship. I like it.
that's like the coolest belt in WWE by far.
Yeah, that's I would say that. It looks dope as hell for
That's
sure.
really cool. Did you get to see anything from WrestleMania? Did you see any results, or did you watch it?
I heard individually about a decent amount of it, but I didn't watch it, or I haven't even seen too many highlights. It was like, it's obviously a 2-night thing now too, so it's a lot.
Yeah,
But
what do
no,
you think about that? They definitely took that from Wrestle Kingdom.
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny, but I
They
mean,
need to do that, dude. They need to shorten that show.
yeah, no, there's really no point at all. Like, there's no was one night WrestleMania that's existed for ever. Like, is that really a broken? Like, is that something you need to improve on?
Yeah. It's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's
Even AJ Styles said like they need to take some people off the card, like not in a mean way, but they need to take some people off the card and just make it like the biggest events of the year, like it used to be.
yeah, it's WrestleMania.
Not every
Yeah,
wrestler needs to be on the card.
for sure. And also, this isn't. I'm not going. Let me preface this by saying I'm a big fan of the women's division too, but they are pushing for more of like they put, that's just more on the card generally. Obviously, if they're right, is that
Yeah,
not saying
I mean, they
but
have
like,
less women's matches than they do men's, but
oh, for sure.
but when they throw in like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and then the women's Battle Royal, it's like they're all good wrestlers in WWE.
Sure, they're all very talented wrestlers.
Make it more of like a pay-per-view card, like a boxing like Triller just did, where it's like prelims is 4 fights and then the main fight.
Yeah, and they have like the women's division has more than enough draw to have like a few matches that are like WrestleMania billing quality. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like just cut out the mid card shitters from the men's division too. Like, it's not.
Right.
And I'm not, no disrespect, but like, if AJ Styles can say it, I'm sure I can't do where.
Yeah, like they hyped up Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for so long because Bianca won the Royal Rumble. That was what everyone was looking forward to. And then like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley debuts and challenges Asuka. Like, what kind of long-term booking is that? Like 2
No,
weeks
that's
before the
very
show, she challenges her.
like 2 weeks before, like this long slated rivalry has been going on for.
Uh-huh.
No, it's a head scratcher for sure.
I mean, they've always done that, like put a match together like the last week, but
Yeah.
I feel like those shouldn't be important matches. They're gonna.
No, yeah, they shouldn't overshadow, this grand storyline they've been building. They do that like every year though. They
They
do.
do. They really
Uh,
do that.
so fans were back, weren't they, a little bit in this?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I'm
there was
pretty
a
sure
rain delay, I heard also, I think.
I think they had 25,000 each night.
Oh, that's really good then, actually. Well, I mean,
Yeah. And people just stayed like night 1 and night 2. So,
mm, yeah,
yeah.
it was in Florida, right?
Mhm.
And it was like wasn't it? I thought I heard it was like the first rain delay like ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. The first time they had fans back in over a year, and there's a rain delay for like an
yeah,
hour.
yeah, it's like unlucky as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was a good WrestleMania card. I thought there's no bad matches. There's only like a couple decent ones, and then the rest were good. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan was really good.
Yeah.
Everyone knew it was going to be good, but it was really good. And they like protected everyone's finishes too.
So
Like
what happened?
no one kicked out of each other's finishes.
See, and that's obviously that happens. Like you've seen that a lot more now. I mean, New Japan does that a lot now too, where everybody like you finish like going back to like the
Rainmaker.
Osprey. Yeah, the Osprey versus Okada. It was like there was like 3 rainmakers in that finish that like it was a good match and then like the tension's there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like 3 finishers in a row unless it's like
Reigns versus Cena, like
yeah,
two like
yeah.
superstars like that can kick out. I don't know.
And Okada kind of, he is,
Okada's on that level too.
for
But
sure.
yeah, I know what you mean. I was gonna say something. When Kenny Omega does the one-winged angel, that match is over. You're like,
Yeah,
that match is over.
except for the Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom 12. I mean, they probably protect it better now, but I mean, they protect.
Kicked out.
I think. Well, okay, I think he kicked out, and then he did a one-wing angel on. Maybe he did. Maybe they didn't, but they did the one-wing angel on a chair, and that was the finish of that match, and that was sick because it was like Jericho took a bump like on like right on the chair, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the finish. But I thought he kicked out of one before that, but maybe not. I guess maybe that is just the most protected move.
I think it is because I think maybe it was. Yeah, I don't think it was against Jericho. I think it was like his DDT days, 12 years ago or something like that, and someone kicked out.
Oh, okay. It must have. Yeah.
Whenever he was in DDT, someone kicked out. It's probably Kota Ibushi.
Yeah.
Probably.
Kota Ibushi's a legend too. Who's he feuding with now? What was that?
Well, he just dropped the title to Ospreay.
That's what it was. Duh.
No, maybe they're in a feud, but
no, he did just drop. That's what it was. He dropped it to Ospreay. I didn't really see
that Will's finally champion.
Yeah, it's just funny that the one thing I don't like about New Japan, and I mean, this is because it's in Japan. Obviously, the promos that the English speakers they're not as impactful a lot of the time when Ospreay talks and he's like, Kota Ibushi, I used you, that was to Okada. I used you to get to the top. We're boys, and then they're all like,
yeah,
it's like they're like politely clapping. Yeah. It's like I respect it.
They just watch chaos break up and they're
yeah. It's just like give them a polite clap every time. No, I respect it, but it was just kind of funny. I could see how it would be refreshing to come over to AEW too, and AEW is sick.
Yeah, I've really liked AEW so far. There are some things like I wish I could change, but I mean, there's a lot less in WWE. Like, I get excited to watch AEW every week. I can barely watch.
You're passionate too, clearly.
What's up?
I said, oh, you cut out a little bit, but I said you can tell that like Tony Khan and like the AEW guys are very passionate about this business, compared to like you don't get that as much. I mean, obviously, WWE is McMahon's life and whatnot and legacy,
Right.
but this seems more of like family, maybe.
Yeah. I don't like to shit on WWE that much, just because I know like all the great moments that they brought and like all the
Yeah,
stars that they built, and storylines, but I think they're just stuck in their ways right now. And
I would
AEW
agree.
is learning from WWE's mistakes.
I kind of feel too though that like WWE is almost so big now. It's a lot harder for them to maneuver. Like AEW is fairly new, so it's like
Mhm.
they can do a lot more. I feel like it can be a lot more creative. Where it's like WWE is almost like too big to do
Yeah,
certain things, I
Yeah,
guess.
their brand is like well established. Like they have geared themselves
Mhm.
towards a younger audience, like pretty clearly, I would say. Like they have their brand. They are World Wrestling Entertainment. But like
Mhm.
you're saying, AEW is brand, and they've got like I don't know, they've got their brand too, and they're working on it, and they get good ratings, and it's clearly working.
Yep.
But yeah, they do have a lot more. You
They
know,
killed NXT to the point that they had to move to Tuesday nights
is that true? So
every week until they moved.
they just like stole the Wednesday. Was it Wednesdays? Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
Wednesday.
thought
Yeah. The
that's
Wednesday night war. I mean, NXT is still good, but 2 years ago, when maybe even 3 years ago, when Andrade, Aleister Black,
mm,
Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano were all
like
like
peak Triple H, like sick
undisputed
booking.
era.
Mm,
Yeah, for real. And Triple H. I don't know if he's still in charge of NXT, like creative
yeah,
wise. I don't know. I think NXT used to have like a indie feel,
for sure.
and now it's very third brand WWE feel.
See, like in line when I was the most recent time I was, keeping up a lot more than I am now. It was like NXT was like very respectable. It was popping off. All their takeovers were just like highly rated,
Oh,
like great wrestling,
the
good
takeover
promos.
insane.
Yeah, they were crazy. Yeah.
They were
And
insane.
and it was just like I said, like Triple H, like it was always good to see Triple H have show a lot of proficiency when it comes to booking. I'm not like I was gonna ask actually if he's still with it, but
I think
like
he is, but I think he's probably taken a step back.
see, it was more of like him like proving himself too. I
Yeah.
felt from like the behind the scenes, and I think he did a great job. I mean, everybody would probably say that he had there was a bunch of 5-star matches and just great
Hmm.
affair. So it is kind of funny. AEW kind of just kicked him off the time slot, though. It's good
They
for him.
really did. And it's like they say, like WWE says that they don't care. They say like, oh, we
Yeah,
were gonna move to Wednesday nights anyway, or to Tuesday nights anyway. But yeah, right. I
yeah,
mean,
that can't feel good. That
yeah,
can't feel good.
for real. Like you guys obviously lost that. Like,
Yeah,
and the funny thing is, like AEW was making they're making the 2 hour time slot like the best that it could be, so that they could get the ratings for that night. And now
mm.
it's like kind of the same show. It feels like it doesn't seem like they've backed away. But NXT never like. I mean, they had good storylines and stuff like that, but it didn't seem like they really ever tried to be a rival with them.
Yeah, or like put out like a polished. Is that kind of like what you're saying? Like
Yeah, they never tried to fight back, I guess.
yeah,
They
yeah.
were obviously losing that war and they never tried to come back.
Which yeah, that makes sense. So maybe there might be some truth to like, oh, we're not too beaten up about it. But I mean, at the end of the day, like how significant those daytime slot like wars have been throughout history. You think the Monday Night Wars, obviously that's like the biggest event ever. So
Right,
it's like it cannot feel good losing any skirmish on a day at any
right.
point, I think.
And it
So,
probably doesn't feel good that like the majority, not the majority, but the top guys that they're releasing are going to AEW.
but obviously they're gonna do that. Obviously they're gonna do that.
Yeah,
Like they need to, and it's not cool to hoard all the talent either. That's not cool because it's just not good for anyone.
no. Like I can see why wrestlers would go to WWE. I mean, you get your name out
Yeah.
there a lot more. You get the bag, you know, you get paid
Mhm.
a lot more. But if you really like love the business and want to see your career grow, I feel like WWE is not the best place unless you're an AJ Styles and like a Bullet Club member, you know,
Mhm.
where unless you know that your spot is secured there, I feel like you should be like a Drew McIntyre and make your name on the independent scene in UK and like in Impact Wrestling and
Unless you're selling toys, like unless you have stuff on the shelf and you're like this bona
Yeah.
fide superstar, you're better off
right.
getting more creative control and getting more recognition outside for sure. I can see that's kind of like soccer in of itself, where it's like the Premier League. You go to England and play soccer, like you'll get the bag. You might, but it's way more competitive, and you might get bumped off the roster slot or whatever. But then it's like you could go to all these other leagues and pick up silverware too, and that's one of the things about the wrestling circuit that is just so cool. That the indie scene is like you could go like Jericho or like Brock Lesnar went to New Japan. Like that was always kind of
Yeah.
like a reliable way to go out there and like get a lot of experience and win some titles. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
He knew that he could make money elsewhere.
for sure. And then he came back bigger than ever. So it's like it's an investment in yourself probably rather than just being like a jobber or like getting top
Yeah.
like bossed around.
I think on Kurt Angle's podcast, I just talked about it, but a guy like Chad Gable should not be in WWE right now. Like he should go to
No,
Japan. He should go to Impact, like build up his character more, and maybe even like change his gimmick a little bit, and then come back and make more money in
yeah,
WWE.
because what's he got to lose? If he can get paid a very similar wage, competitively and have like a way bigger role, why would you? It comes down probably to ambition. And I'm sure I'm sure
Yeah.
WWE tells him, oh, we got this for you, kind of maybe.
Yeah, I think they do a lot. And I'm not trying to shit on any of the WWE wrestlers. Like obviously like that's the dream to be there, but
For sure, it's the
I feel
peak
like
of.
if your spot isn't secured and you're on the verge of getting released like those 10 guys just did, like I don't know. I just don't see the value in being there until
No
you get
doubt
a spot.
that WWE is that, it is the peak, it is the pinnacle of sports entertainment, wrestling, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you're saying, it definitely makes sense to branch out. The WWE stock is doing real well, I noticed.
Is it?
Yeah, and they posted like a pretty healthy profit, but I think it was literally because there's no fans and they didn't have to rent out these massive
Yeah.
arenas and stuff. So it's a little inflated.
Apparently they were losing money before COVID. They were losing money on house shows.
Yeah, I can believe that though.
I
Like
can
that,
believe it too.
it's
Like
not unbelievable. That's probably why. Like I was reading some like somebody was like, "Yo, there could be a nice investment opportunity here in WWE," and all the comments were like, "I'm not touching this because it's like, they're not having any house shows. They're doing like however much. They're doing a lot less production. That's obviously why they're turning a profit.
yeah.
This year.
Yeah, all they're doing is renting out a place and calling it the Thunderdome, and then
Yeah,
they have the TV deal. Like that's all that they have
yeah,
going on right now. But that's every wrestling show that has a TV deal. But like Jacob was saying, WWE I feel like is stuck in their ways because they have the stockholders, and since
yeah,
it's a public company, they have to like appeal to everyone,
for sure.
So they're not going to do it like a racy angle like they would have done in the Attitude Era ever again.
100%. That's exactly right. Like once a company does go public like that, they're publicly owned. It's like you have an obligation to, they obviously think of themselves as a brand that people can invest in, and they have they're obligated to keep that price steady or going up. Like you're saying, they just can't. They're too big, way too big. But
Mm-hmm.
they're not too big to where it's like it's a detriment, obviously, because they still produce really good matches and whatnot.
Right, yeah.
It's just best for everybody if AEW is just like a godsend, because it's like another like semi-mainstream wrestling promotion that is like just good, better for everyone that
Yeah,
does
I think
storylines.
so too. I mean, WWF was at its best when WCW was killing them in the ratings.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it made them do
themselves.
stuff they out of their comfort zone.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the fans like if it's just WWE and like you weren't interested, you'd probably be like, I'm probably just gonna stop watching. But if there's like actually like an alternative, at least keep people in the whole I guess industry itself, and then maybe they'll come back eventually.
Yeah, and that's what's happened so many times. Like, because WCW was the last big competition. I mean,
Mhm.
TNA was big at its like,
Yeah.
but it was never WCW height, I guess, popularity.
Yeah, because it always had like it was super edgy, and it always had its like weird quirks, like the octagon for a while. They didn't have
Yeah.
square rings or whatever. And Kurt Angle went and toured up there. That was
Mhm.
cool. But
I used
yeah,
to love TNA. Like, there was a point when I was like maybe 10 or 11 where I thought it was cooler than WWE,
they
but
did some hardcore shit though. So it's
they
like
did.
I could see that.
They did. But then you'd watch like Randy Orton and you'd be like, there's no
Yeah.
Randy Orton in TNA, you know?
Yeah, they didn't have they had some cool people though. They had like oh
AJ.
yeah, AJ obviously, and most of them have just assimilated to WWE though. That's kind of
Right.
with WCW too. It was like immediately after they did the whole invasion angle, and they just assimilated. Eric Bischoff became a creative at WWE. So it wasn't. I don't know. It was that was the best time for wrestling though. Like you said, like the Monday Night Wars were just like objectively for those couple years or whatever were just like great wrestling. For
Yep.
both.
It
It's
definitely.
a little debatable, I guess, but they did some goofy shit. But those retro shows are just like amazing. Like you can watch those today and just have a great time.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like that was wrestling's height, but
Yeah.
definitely the best era of wrestling. But I'm pretty sure the reason why they couldn't get everyone for the invasion angle was because guys like Sting and like Goldberg were like locked into their contracts at WW or WCW.
Hmm.
And so when I think their contracts either like rode out or they just didn't want to sign to WWE.
Sting was a big notable example because he just went straight to TNA and he was like, I'm never signing for WWE. And then he did. And then they butchered him, didn't they?
And then he did, and then yep, you're exactly right.
So it's just like maybe he was onto something. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, he said in an interview that he wanted to do a cinematic match with Undertaker, and they said no.
Yeah, it's like
They
that
said
would be like people would love that, obviously two like legends from a similar
Right.
era.
That would be the coolest thing ever. But
Yeah, the Undertaker, he's doing podcasts now, right around now. I don't know if he saw him on Joe Rogan. He's cool to listen to.
that was a good interview. That was so unexpected. One day, because I listened to Joe Rogan, and one day I just saw Mark Undertaker Calloway. I was like,
Yeah,
holy shit, the Undertaker's on JRE. It's awesome.
yeah. And I don't watch a ton of Joe Rogan, but as soon as I saw that one, I'm like, well, I'm gonna watch Mark Calloway talk about being the fucking Undertaker for however long. And he's just so cool. That dude is just
He
I don't
really
know.
is so cool. I just watched Stone Cold's documentary on A&E. That was awesome.
Yeah, Stone Cold has a good podcast too, doesn't he?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very scripted podcast.
Oh,
Like I watched the one with Randy Orton. I mean, they talk about good topics, I guess, but it will be like there's a bunch of commercial breaks because WWE Network is on Peacock now.
Oh, really?
Commercial breaks, and there's a bunch of like you can just tell that they're in a studio and a producer's telling them what to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's too bad. I just hear a lot of sound bites maybe from it, like historically him like, shooting on this or that or whatever, which is I'm assuming from his podcast in the past or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so? Is WWE Network, you still pay for WWE Network, or do you have to buy Peacock now? Or
Yeah, I thought it was just going to transfer over, but you have to, like, your WWE Network account is gone. So you either buy Peacock or you don't have an account.
Okay, wait. So I have Peacock because every English soccer game that isn't on TV is on Peacock. So I bought it for soccer, So I can just watch
So
WWE Network stuff now.
which one do you have? Do you have the ad-free one or like
I don't know actually.
the $5 a month or the $10 a month?
I think I have the five. I think I'm a broke boy. I think I got the
I think
$5.
I think you get WWE Network either way, but there's no ads for the $10 one.
Yeah, that's pretty sick though. That's actually all I want now that I think about it, because they have all their like retro recorded matches on there too, right? They have a huge catalog of.
I think well, here's another big thing. Their Peacock is editing out a lot of like controversial moments in wrestling. So
AIDS.
yeah, don't expect WCW or a lot of the Attitude Era stuff.
Yeah, so just
But
all of the early WWE then it's gone.
yeah, I think a lot of the Attitude Era stuff is getting edited off and ECW stuff. So that sucks. But
Speaking of, just eras of WWE, like transition in our era of WWE, like SmackDown versus Raw, like 2010, those games, 2008 maybe. Jacob, we used to play those religiously back in the day.
Those are a good time.
I rented that game from Mr. Movies for like 5 straight weeks, and my mom was like, "I'm just gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy it for you, because you've already spent up to that much." And we also used to play with figures, WWE
oh
figures.
my god, dude, that was so fun, dude. Rory had some cool ones. Chase had like 200 of them.
Yeah, he did. And we used to run around promotions.
Yeah. Chase had so many, but Jacob had like unexpectedly cool ones.
You had like a lot of the older
even know about, like he had Elijah Burke.
Yeah, I just got him one day. I was like, oh, he's got a microphone. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you had like vintage Miz, like chick magnet Miz with like.
You had Rough Rider, Zack Ryder, like back when he had the long hair. Like you had that Zack Ryder too. I remember that fig. And
you had the Edge head, Zack Ryder.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's what I wanted to show you. The music hits. And it goes like. Now listen, this ain't no make believe.
Oh my
Aiden,
god,
this is yours, bro.
that was mine that I gave to you.
I think I need to repay this to you,
make
bro.
for that?
I don't know. I swindled you guys though. And that's not all. Like
that was a time that I was gonna not play with action figures anymore.
Bro, and I was like,
my CM Punk. I gave you my CM Punk.
The CM Punk right here.
Inside. Oh my god.
The CM Punk.
That CM Punk.
Yeah, Chase.
No
I traded Chase a Boink the Clown for both CM Punks.
Dude, Doink the Clown for
Doink the Clown. That's what it was. Yeah, for
both
like
2011 CM Punk and what 2010.
Yeah, this is probably like 20 what, like 14 maybe or something like that. Or
I think it's when he was WWE champion, so like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, like Money in the Bank type beat, right? Yeah, which is like the sickest. This is like my favorite figure back. I was like, it's at a good home. I'm taking care of them. But you just gave me this elite Mattel Series 4.
Yeah, he's an elite John Morrison.
Yeah, from Series 4. Like they're on like 80 now or some shit. Like these are OGS. Yeah, like.
I know. Like probably like a couple months after I did that, I was like, why did I do that?
I know. I was like, I'm done with them. And I'm like, I don't know. If you want to, like, if you got some trade, regret,
I don't though. Like I shouldn't have, but I haven't touched them in years. Like they're sitting in my basement, like
same. Like they're all.
I know you have them. I mean, it's not like someone across the world has one that I don't.
I'm taking good care of them, because they're so, they're so sick. That was just a huge part of my childhood too. I don't know.
The fact that it's CM Punk. I can get over the John Morrison one, but CM Punk.
The CM Punk, yeah, it was like, and then I got the full set. I got the one that Chase gave me too with the shirt. It's like he gave me the
Dude, okay, his is stupider, if that's even a word. More stupid. Because I gave him that CM Punk.
Yeah.
Traded 2 CM Punks for Doink the Clown.
Yeah, it was an elite Doink the Clown, but
But who
ordered it.
cares? Doink the Clown sucks. It's like the epitome of 90s wrestling that was like horrible characters.
Yeah, it was like I don't know. It was literally Doink the Clown for I don't know. That's just like the best trade I think I've ever like made up there. Besides maybe GameStop earlier this year, like
What'd you
GameStop.
trade?
Well, I just got how that huge GameStop boom
Mhm.
happened in the stock market that
Oh,
made a
okay.
bunch of people a
Stop.
bunch of money. So besides that and this elite John Morrison and both my CM Punks, like those are both like about the best trades I've ever made in my life, pretty much.
Yeah, some of the dumbest trades I've ever made.
Yeah, I didn't want to flaunt it too much over you, but I was like, this is just too perfect, not to not to bust out.
I should have known it was gonna be something like that when you said it was a surprise.
I was hoping you'd remember, but then I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't. We'll see. It was just
You
fun.
remember it though. Fuck. Do you still have your figures, Jacob?
Yeah, they're just sitting in my garage. I need to like. We should almost look at like selling them. Like maybe they're like super rare, worth a bunch.
The
You're-
John Morrison one is.
the John Morrison one, or not John Morrison, the Miz one. Those are cool.
Uh,
Trying to think of the other ones that you had. You had like a ladder set, didn't you, with the ring?
I think so. Yeah, I just remember I got a ring because I went to Rory's one time and I walked in. He had like this huge ring set up with like these like steel beams, and I was like, "This is sick. I need to get one of these."
Money in the bank. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
Oh shit! That was my first ring.
yeah. And it came with this huge raft, and it was just I don't know, with ladders and shit.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a cool set. The only bad part
Before-
about that one is the ring was kind of iffy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Chase had the elite like full scale ring, which was
Yeah.
sick. That was sick
Did
as
buy
hell.
that.
And then I just remember when we were real young, Jacob, we used to make the championship belts out of paper. That's what we used
Yeah,
to do.
I remember that.
Because it was like we didn't have like the like nice, because they didn't give them out like that either. Like
And now
they
it's
do
like
now.
pretty liberal the way that they have a title in each. Like,
And if they did, it was like if it was the U.S. title, it was like this shitty like non-colored one.
Yeah,
Like they did not give a hell, but they didn't give a shit back then at all. The production wasn't great. But now it's like obviously amazing.
mm-hmm.
It's funny.
Yeah, now they're all really cool, really
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, I can't talk, but yeah, I bought the Elite ring, but it was like as I was not playing with them as much anymore.
Yeah, still cool to have. I would
Still
say.
cool to have, yeah.
Like,
I
these
don't,
will
yeah,
probably-
I don't know what I'm gonna do with mine. I don't really want to sell them though, but I have no reason to keep them.
I'll put them in storage. I don't know.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. I got a hard time like that. My Thomas the Tank Engine from when I was like 6, and like these Knights. I just have a hard time throwing that stuff out.
yeah. I have the majority of all my toys from when I was little.
Yeah. Especially something as big as wrestling figures. That was like
Right.
you go to Target or Walmart as a kid. It's like that's the place you're going, is that aisle.
Mm-hmm. I was there so often.
Yeah, the
I
elites.
didn't even have that many, and I didn't have that many figures. I probably only got like 30, which is a lot. But
Yeah.
compared to
Well,
me, I had like 200.
they're like $25. Like the elite figs were like $25 a pop.
Yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
not
The
cheap.
ones are like 10. I think the elites are like 20 to 25.
Yeah, I didn't buy the basic ones because I like the abdomen movement. Because if I was like I like to play with them. So it's like I couldn't do a suplex if I can't hook the arms right. So
Did you
Yeah, I
guys
didn't
ever
like
watch?
the basic ones either. But like they had like a basic Paul Heyman, like for managers and stuff like that, for sure. But
Did you guys ever watch like the stop motions on YouTube?
yeah, all it.
They
They were
broke
dude,
it.
good.
I tried to make them. I tried to make them.
Okay.
I did like maybe two recordings of it, but it was horrible. Like
Well, yeah, like I don't know, but the ones they did were like good as hell. I don't know if you've
They're
seen some
really-
of them. They got like the ropes and shit, and like I
Yeah,
don't know, fucking-
they had like the fishing line. Like,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And some of
Mine
them had, like,
mine
some-
were like, well, when you watch them, the actual good ones, they're like this. Like it looks like a punch for real. Mine were like,
next scene is like yeah.
yeah.
Nothing in the air either. If it can't
No.
support it, it's not happening. Didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I didn't do any like high flying moves at all. It was all,
Yeah,
but
for
yeah, it
sure.
was a good time. Do you remember the trampoline wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good.
Me and Chase were gonna start a league.
Yeah, I would have been in that. Chase and I used to do that all the time back in the day. Just go out there.
Uh-huh.
It was fun on a trampoline, because you can do
It was
drop
cool.
kicks and shit, and like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember I got drop kicked off it was back when he had his old house, so it was on the sand. I got
Mhm.
drop kicked off the trampoline
Oh.
onto the sand.
Yeah,
I
those.
was like, whoa. That must be what it's like.
Bro, those were low key the days on his. I forgot about his old house down there on the beach. It was like that was fun. We'd take the titles out and just like boom, and it was just like right up on the lake. It was cool.
That was cool.
For
Well,
sure.
we'll
That's a
wrap
memory
up,
I forgot.
but since we got to get out of here, but do you have anything else to say?
Not really, but it was, if you guys ever want to have me back, I would love to be on your podcast, you guys' podcast at any time. It was great talk. We need to keep more in touch too. I feel like
It was a good chat. I liked it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
No, yeah, thanks for having me. I'll be back up at the lakes this summer at some point too, so should link up if you guys are gonna be back.
We'll play some action figures. I mean, we'll go boating.
Yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something like really cool, probably not.
Yeah, yeah, we'll go out drinking. I mean,
partying and trendy stuff, whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll let you go. See you. Thanks for coming on.
I think that's good.
I think it was good too. How do I stop this?